like to introduce Carey DIJULIO, who is VP and General Manager for Casino at Big Fish. He's been there since '09, and prior to that has had about a decade of experience in the games industry at Real Networks. I can tell you personally from watching what Big Fish has done with Carey's Casino and making it to Big Fish Casino, there have been some amazing innovations there, and I think it's been wildly successful, and I think Carey's been a big part of that. So I'm personally looking forward to hearing this talk, and with that, I'll turn it over to Carey. Thank you.
Working? Okay. Can you guys hear me okay? Excellent. I'm excited to be here to share with you today what it takes to take your social casino application and make it a true online entertainment destination. And why should you care about that? Why would you, want to think in this grandiose terms of online entertainment instead of just a social casino game? The answer to that is convergence. We're in a big industry now. It's growing, but we're really at the intersection of two great industries, the game industry and the traditional real money gambling industry. And if you want to create something that's lasting, that's going to go forward, you need to be thinking about it in terms of entertainment experience, the same way the real money guys have built entertainment experiences in the real world, like Vegas, like Atlantic City. So the key to that, one of the really critical components that I'm going to share with you today is the need for a social environment. So let me first define what a social environment is. And that is not working. Okay? All right, a social environment. It's an environment with the potential for real-time interaction with other people. So we're in a social environment right now. You guys could all be talking to each other. I'm really happy you're not and listening to me, at least for the moment, but the potential's there. If I say something stupid, you can rib the person next to you, whisper something in their ear, smile. It's that potential for interaction that creates a richness and a context in this room that you wouldn't get if you were just watching this video online. And that's really important when you're thinking about creating an entertainment destination. It provides this richness and context that you just can't get when you're playing a game by yourself. And we see this in every real-world casino that's out there. Games like roulette and craps are inherently social. They're nothing more interactive than playing with other people at those tables. You're all betting against the house. You're egging each other on. It's this really great interactive experience. Even something like slots, though, is an interactive experience in a real-world casino. You're playing, the person next to you goes into that great bonus round that just seems to last forever. All of a sudden, all the chairs around them pivot and turn, and everyone's watching that, and your jaw's kind of dropping in awe, and you're just jealous, really. But that jealousness adds to their feeling of win and what makes it feel really cool for them. So when we're thinking about how do we take all this great social environment that you might get in a place like Vegas, and how do we bring it online, and how do we really create that destination that people want to return to, you need to be thinking about the social layer and that potential for social interaction. And you can't force it, right? You can't force people to interact. It's really about the potential for it to exist and happen spontaneously. And it's hard to bring that online. If it were easy, we'd all be doing that. This is something that exists in our day-to-day lives. We don't even think about being social, right? We're just kind of out there in these environments. But when we get online and we sit down, all of a sudden we lose all that context and we lose that richness. It's hard to do online, but we've been really successful at it in Big Fish Casino. And so I'll share with you why that is. And really, when you think about how you're going to bring a destination like Vegas, all that thrill, excitement, that winning, that putting everything, that risk, that putting everything on the line, and how you're going to bring that into an online world, it's really about focusing on entertainment. So how many people here are game developers? Traditional, from the game background. Okay, how many people are from the real money side? Just a few of you. Some both, right? The real thing that we can bring as game developers to this new converged space is this focus on entertainment, especially digital entertainment. We know how to create these entertainment experiences online. We know how to create them in games themselves. But when we think about sort of social casino games, you think about slots, poker, blackjack, a lot of the entertainment that you're creating is the game that surrounds it. It's that environment that the people are playing these traditional games in. It's all the things that happen, the fun, the success, the relaxation, the challenge, and the winning. But if you can build that into a social context, you'll really see the key to this, realizing this converged opportunity and creating a destination that people want to return to. So one of the things that's been most frustrating to me over the past couple years in this industry is kind of the way that we've overloaded terminology. So I'll talk a little bit about what exactly is a social casino game and how maybe we've overused that term quite a bit in the past year or two. And I just want to dissect it so we can be really sure what we're talking about here. So a social casino game, again, I'm trying to recreate all that thrill, excitement of being in a real life casino and bring it online. Traditionally, when we talk about social casino games, we talk about a game that's on Facebook, right? So we talk about a social game, we think Facebook games. But Facebook games aren't inherently social. They might have a social distribution mechanic, a viral mechanic, right? But just because something is distributed virally doesn't mean that the content itself is actually social. A perfect example of this is a cat playing piano, right? It might end up being a viral piece of content, but it's not a social piece of content in and of itself. So just because a game is on Facebook does not mean it's a social game. And I'll give you the perfect example of that. In the UK, we've had real money casinos now operating on Facebook. But no one calls those social casino games because the experience itself is not inherently social. Right? If you really want to think about social, you're thinking about that layer. You're thinking about that social environment that has that potential for interaction, that really provides value, that provides stickiness, that provides a place for people to return because their friends are there and because they want to interact, because when they have a win, it's shared in that environment. The other thing that we've used with the word social is the free-to-play business model, right? So when we think about social games, you know, maybe we think about them on Facebook, but we also think about them in terms of social casino as a free-to-play business model. But again, this is also not inherently a social experience. And we really saw that when we started to see games come to mobile. All of a sudden, we had plenty of free-to-play games that had no social interactions and maybe no even Facebook connectivity. And that's because, you know, free-to-play is a fantastic business model, but it's not an inherently social business model. If you want to talk about actual social, and let's talk about some of the components for social right now. Facebook, social graphs in general. Facebook is one. You can have Twitter, you can have Game Center. There are a lot of different options. Social graphs are a fantastic tool for bringing your users connections from other parts of their life into your game. But it, again, doesn't make your game social in and of itself. In order to have a truly social game, you need to have a synchronous multiplayer game, because this is what allows for that environment that really replicates what we see in real life. This is what allows for that spontaneous interaction, that potential for people to form connections with each other and to have that sort of sticky, engaging experience with your brand. Synchronous multiplayer, I'll give you a perfect example. So if you're playing poker, you know, poker's a great game, it's pretty fun. But a lot of the fun in the context is all the dynamic sort of interactions that are happening between the people at the table, right? It's the guy that's, you know, got that stone cold face, but you realize it's maybe the flirtation that's happening in a more casual game. It's all these other contexts that we have in our day-to-day lives we don't even think about, but we have a real hard time bringing into the online world. But I think that's really key when you're thinking about creating these destinations, when you're thinking about creating a brand and an experience that's going to live and survive in a converged world. So social casino games, they need to be truly social. They need to be synchronous multiplayer, and they need to be cross-platform as well. I mean, we've heard examples. We're living in a world that's more and more cross-platform. People just expect to play wherever they are. They expect to, you know, maybe play a little bit on the PC at work. May I say that? Work? Yes. Play the PC at work or at home, and then pick up on the bus ride home and play on their mobile device and have that game you know, be able to pick right where they left off. But they also expect to have those same social connections and that same network exist with them as well. So when we think about the social context that we inhabit in our day-to-day lives, it's one that kind of travels with us. And especially with cell phones nowadays, you can call your mom wherever you are, right? You know, that network always travels with you. But even as you're moving through your day, there's always this social environment with new people, with different people, you know, that adds that richness to your day. So social casino games need to be cross-platform, but really you need to focus on mobile. Mobile is where the future is. And getting that all together will be the entertainment destination for your players. And let me talk to you a little bit about why mobile is so important. So we're seeing year-over-year growth in smartphone penetration for US adults. And 37% of those play a game on a typical day. So it's a huge market of game players right there. Wouldn't you want them to be playing your game? You need to be on mobile. These are great consumers. They tend to be younger, educated, higher income. And it's their always-on, personal, connected device. So more and more we think of PCs as a shared device that's in the household. We need to be focused on mobile, that device that's with you all the time. Your player might have to relinquish her PC to her son so he can do his homework. If you're not on the device that she takes when she sits down on the couch next to her husband that's watching the football game, if she can't play your game at that moment, then you don't really have that connection with her. If you have this social environment that you created that becomes part of their community and they can't access it wherever they are, then they don't really have that entertainment destination that's truly reached this converged state where they can take their little trip to Vegas when they have 5 minutes in the day and they need to relax, and they can have all that rich context and interactions that they would get at a regular casino. And we've seen this be really powerful. But first, let me tell you a little bit about where I'm coming from. Big Fish Games, we've been on mobile since 2008. Big Fish Casino is the top grossing casino on iOS. We've got a long history of development. We've been in the industry over 11 years. We've got 3,000 plus PC Mac games. We've had over 2 billion of our games downloaded, and that the latest 1 billion is just in the last couple of years, and that really speaks to acceleration of our business as we expand onto new platforms and become a cross-platform company. We have games on 4 screens, and bringing it back to Big Fish Casino, we've seen incredible success and growth with our social first strategy. And I'll show you a quick example of what this really looks like. This 10 seconds of video here is hundreds of thousand hours of development time. It's over 3 years of experience in creating a social casino game. But it demonstrates that richness and context, that social interaction that you would have in a Vegas floor. So just like in the real money world, they spent billions of dollars creating these entertainment destinations that people go to when they want to escape. We need to make the same investment when we're creating our social casino games to create a true place where people want to return to. And it's pretty powerful. So with Big Fish Casino, we've really been leading this convergence. We have the leading example of cross-business model convergence with our Big Fish Casino UK product. It's available in the UK App Store. It allows real money gaming right next to your free-to-play gaming. So it, again, is this place where people can go regardless of how they want to interact with us on that day. Whether they want to put some money on the line and really sort of have the risk and big win element of real money gaming, or whether they want to relax and just socialize and have the entertainment aspect of free-to-play. We allow that both to happen in the same environment, and that gives them a place where they can just come to and they don't have to think about how do I want to interact today before they open up an app. They just go to that environment. The same way they might go to Vegas and decide, do I want to gamble tonight or do I want to go to a show? Am I going to go see dinner? Maybe I need a break, so I'm going to go to a nightclub, or maybe I want to celebrate a big win that I had, so I have all these other entertainment options around it. By providing an entertainment destination for our customers, these are things that they can just come to us and then kind of explore the evening as they see fit. We've seen some pretty astounding results, right? So the hypothesis going in is there might be 2 different types of players. There might be the real money player and the free-to-play player, and they might be a completely different. And I think when they come to purchase, there are different psychographic profiles that might lead a user to actual gamble versus purchase on the free-to-play side. But they're not completely distinct users. And what we've seen is that it's a pretty astounding results. So from our real money gaming players, 50% of those players will play on the free-to-play side regularly. And that makes them 140% more engaged with our app because we provide this holistic entertainment destination than they would if we just had a real money gaming app. And the reason for this is because we provide them a place they want to visit even on the days they don't feel like gambling, right? We're not forcing that decision before they even decide what app to open up on their phones. We're giving them a place that they come back to, and this is incredibly valuable. And that's because this is where their friends are and where they can meet new ones. We're giving them that ability to form new connections, and we see people socialize and really find their friend communities within our game. And it's fun, and that's what keeps them coming back for more. So it's not an easy road to get to this entertainment destination and create this space that's going to be an incredibly valuable place for your players, a place where your players feel loyal, where they want to come back. It's not easy to do this. I'll tell you a little bit about how we got there. As most of you are game developers, you really need to start with inspiration and creativity, and this means understanding how to create digital experiences. This means understanding the game industry as a whole. Here are just some examples of the games that we've taken inspiration from and folded into Big Fish Casino. And if these don't seem intuitive, it's because you really need to understand the core mechanics that are part of all these gameplay experiences, what the drivers behind them are, and then how to translate them to your audience. And that takes expertise. Our team is a team of gamers. We have development experience in console, in social, in Facebook, in mobile. But we know how to create entertainment. We know how to create an entertainment experience. So we take all that great inspiration, we take actual knowledge of game mechanics and how to translate them for the particular audience, and we fold in innovation. And we take a social-first approach for Big Fish Casino from the very beginning, which has worked out incredibly well for us. We were one of the first multiplayer games on mobile. This was several years ago when we launched our first product. We've innovated new mechanics starting with that social foundation layer. We're the first leading Convergence in the UK. We've had years of development expertise. We've got a BI team that crunches all this great data that we have and provides us insights that we can use to delight our customers. We have 24/7 we're running this game. So we've got customer support, we've got community moderation, we've got operational excellence, we've got a proprietary technology platform that allows us to release cross-platform simultaneously and keep that content up to date, because it's not that you just release a game, it's that you're constantly keeping this liveliness, this feeling of an evolving and growing environment for your customers. So we're constantly iterating and releasing daily, almost. Most of the time daily, actually, several times. So multiplayer social is the foundation for all of this. And I'm going to go into my behavioral science background a little bit and talk about why social is so important. So I've talked about some of the examples in the UK and how it's really, that environment has led us to have great stickiness and conversion with our UK product. But let me talk about why social, and especially synchronous social, is so important. So this is Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and I'm, again, getting a little geeky on you as a behavioral science major. But this kind of catalogs human needs from the most basic physiological needs, sleeping, eating, all the way up to self-actualization. And as game developers, we traditionally focus in this esteem area, which is all the sort of traditional game mechanics that you would see. It's things around competition, mastery, fame, achievement, status, winning, recognition. But there's a layer that's more fundamental to that, that's more fundamental to human behavior, and that no one's really done well bringing into the online world. And that's that social layer. It's the layer of companionship, it's the layer of friendship, social interaction, belonging. And New Yorker had a great article on human as a social animal by David Brooks, and he said here that joining a group that meets once a month provides the same happiness as doubling your income. So think about how powerful that is, an example of how powerful that social connectivity can be, and if you can build that into your game, you've created something really valuable for your player. Is that true? Does it hold up online? It absolutely does. So our BI team, proved that the number one predictor of engagement monetization in Big Fish Casino, one of our biggest drivers, is the number of friends that people have in game. So when you're thinking about what a social casino game is, you want to be creating an environment that rivals the entertainment destinations that the real money world has spent thousands of years and billions of dollars building up in real life. We need to be creating those things online to head into the future. And that's going to be a game experience, and it's going to be a synchronous multiplayer game experience. All right, I went long, I think, but ultimately it's going to be an entertainment destination. Do you guys have questions?
Thank you, Carey. Great presentation, by the way.
Thanks.
The definition of social is most people don't get. But in terms of your UK site, where you have the freemium on one side and the real game on the other side, are you trying to upgrade the freemium people at all into gambling? Are you profiling them? Are you giving them sort of spiffs in there to get them in, or are you just saying pick one or the other?
We cross-promote from both sides, but ultimately it's up to the player's choice on how they want to interact with us.
What's the maximum size of a mobile app? that you would consider?
I think you need to make sure that it can be downloaded wirelessly or over the air. So I think that's 40 megabytes now.
40?
Is that correct? 50, 40, something like that?
So if you're under 40, you're okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Keep it small. It's important.
Right.
Okay. I think I'm at time. I'll be out in the hallway if you guys want to talk more. Thanks.